Hi, I'm Kaush Ruparel, and I run product and technology here at revVana. In today's product video, I'll show how revVana automates revenue forecasting in Salesforce. Using advanced finance rules, revVana generates accurate forecasts by merging new and existing business projection into a single collaborative document. Teams can effortlessly create, adjust, and refine forecasts in real time, ensuring a consistent, reliable forecasting process for complex revenue models. Let's dive in.
What you can see on the screen is an opportunity. So as Greg mentioned, revVana is an app exchange company, and we run natively in your Salesforce org. And we have an automation engine that runs in the background, and it monitors all your opportunities based on the criteria that has been configured. When an opportunity meets a certain criteria, revVana automatically generates a revenue schedule based on the patterns and the configurations that have been set in that org. Um, revVana can attach to any object, including codes, code lines. But in this demonstration, I'm going to just stick to opportunity and opportunity product. So here's an opportunity that's in a certain stage. It has three different products, and as of right now, it doesn't have any plan associated with it. And as it is configured here, when the opportunity moves to a next advanced stage, behind the scene, revVana will come into action. It will evaluate this opportunity against a set rules of criteria as well as patterns, and within a few moments, it will generate a plan. So let's take a quick look at this plan. So for every product in that opportunity, it it analyzed the type of family, and this is again configurable on what attributes you want to pick a pattern. It could be tightly coupled on a product, or it could be loosely based on product family, or some other combination of, for example, account segments. Like for enterprise, use a certain type of ramp, but for SMB, just divide equally. So based on that, it took the opportunity product amount, the dates associated with either the product or opportunity close date, again configurable, and it generates a revenue schedule. Now I'll jump into and explain the details, but in order to show you more functionality, I will go ahead and add a new product to this opportunity. So it's not just one-time creation of the schedule, but it is constantly monitoring those opportunities. So as change happen, it's going to pick those up. So a lot of companies for consumption product, since the actual usages may not be known, they just enter a dummy value for that particular product. And this is just to show that everything doesn't have to be at the same time. I'll pick a date that is different from the other product. And once this is saved, revVana will again swing into action, and it will start processing it. But while it's processing, I can talk a little bit about all the different patterns that are configured in this org. So product one is a one-time product where the entire opportunity product amount got allocated to the month of November. Product 14 is kind of like a recurring pattern, but it's like once a quarter. So we support different patterns like that. In this case, it gets assigned to end of quarter. And you may have noticed my screen just refreshed. So it brought in that new product, and it noticed that it starts in December. And I had entered zero point 0.1 as the value, but behind the scene, we have analyzed the historical data, and we figured out that for this particular account or similar accounts, the consumption amount is in the range of 36,000. So it picked that, and then it equally um, applied the monthly weight, or how the product in the past has been distributed over the months, and it intelligently created that schedule for you. And again, it could be based on different patterns and different input parameters that you put. In this example, it's using the monthly distribution, percentage of total weighted, as well as a seasonal index. Now, the question could be, where did this come from? So this comes from another input that revVana can maintain. In this example, revVana has calculated a monthly profile from the historical actual revenue by account, and you see four different metrics that it has calculated. This would be used as an input, but this can be at any level. It doesn't have to be at account level. It could be at uh, account and product family level, account and product level, or a higher dimensionality like account industry and product family. Where that becomes important is, let's say you have a brand new account and you don't have any history to go by in terms of how are you going to predict the consumption or any other pattern for that particular new account, or you may be launching a new product and you don't necessarily have a history to go by. Having said that, accounts share behavior and characteristics with other accounts in the size category or segment or industry. So we have some information in the past that we can derive. So instead of like either not forecasting for new account or taking a very broad stroke and just putting everything, all the revenue in certain months, divide equally, something like that, we could actually adopt patterns from similarly behaving accounts or industries and use that to generate the forecast. And we can do multiple of this. It's not just one. You could have ramp coming in, you could have growth factors being applied in sequence. We can also adopt inputs that could come from other teams like finance or demand planning that have been doing these kind of analysis, so we can take those into account. So once we do this, once you have the plan that is generated at the opportunity level, this in itself can be fed into the Salesforce consumption forecasting tool. And this would work for certain industry that just does forecasting for new business. However, there are other industries where the total revenue comes from new business, which is tracked in opportunity and CPQ, but they also have business on account. Some companies call it run rate, some companies just call it existing business. This is the stream of revenue that is not tracked by opportunities. So in that case, the final revenue would be a combination of all those. So where revVana can help is, this is just one scenario we call pipeline revenue, but you can configure multiple scenarios and then roll them up at an account by account level or a book of business level, where a rep managing multiple accounts can see all their numbers rolled up at that level. And as I was mentioning, we could support multiple scenarios. In this example, you would see a sales team's call, you see the total revenue forecast, AI model one predicted amount, model two, and actual amount. So the idea here is that the rep and the team, when they are making their adjustment, they have a plethora of information available at their hands, and they can make a more informed decision. One model may perform better for a certain account or a certain set of products versus another model may perform better. So as time goes by, the system can also be trained to pick a specific model for a specific account as we know more about the accuracy of those forecasts. So talking about where this came from, so we have let's talk about one by one. So the AI model forecast can come from some of the homegrown generative models that we have, which look at your historical actuals and generate a forecast by account or at a granular level by account and product. But you can bring your own model. Like if your teams have already built a capability, or you could use Salesforce Einstein to generate the prediction. And if you want to bring it in here, you could bring it in here. And if you notice, on the month of October, we have the values predicted by all these models. And the month of September, which was the last month, we also have the actual. So this kind of gives your team an ability to look at these different forecasts and arrive at their number at their own intuition. And when it comes to total revenue forecast, this is where I was mentioning that the forecast could be a combination of your new business as well as run rate or existing business. So when I filter by account A, you can see at the bottom where we have laid out the forecast by opportunities, open as well as close. And then there is also a number coming from the run rate that has been predetermined using historical data for that particular month. When you all add it all up, that becomes your total revVana forecast. And where this approach excels is if you are just doing an AI model that generates a forecast based on historical actuals, you may miss out on some signals that is living in your opportunity. You may have an open opportunity that is going to significantly increase the consumption for a product for an account. But if you had just relied on your historical actuals, your model will miss that number. So we believe that generating these forecasts from bottom up by combining different scenarios into a total number is a far superior approach. So having said that, since we generate this data at that bottom up level, you can do a lot of different analysis because every opportunity in this case and the product has its own revenue schedule. So you can slice and dice your numbers from different angles. And as you work with your team, this kind of becomes a valuable input for you um, to make a more informed forecast. So alternatively, if you want to do a full-on new plus existing business forecast, you could generate this plan, and we could then feed this into the consumption forecasting instead of just the new business. So with that said, I'll quickly jump into how the data from revVana moves into the consumption data model. So essentially, since all the data lives in a data cloud, we can push the information from revVana plans into the consumption forecasting data model. Once that is done, this is how it appears. And again, this is a view from a sales rep where they can look at it by account, and it could be a granular forecast where line by line or opportunity by opportunity, that information can be feeded to the consumption forecasting. And as you see here, we could see the expected revenue information. We could also do predicted if it's configured that way. But the idea being that instead of starting with a blank forecast, you now have a bottoms up rolled up number in this UI. And this is the sales rep view. Let me quickly show you a view from an executive point of view where the numbers roll up their hierarchy. So this is a VP of sales view, and in this view, you can see that all the numbers from revVana, revVana's opportunity level forecast rolled up to accounts, and then it rolled up to the individual users. And at this point, this is where what Lizzie was saying, they could collaboratively discuss this on a weekly basis and make changes and adjustments to generate a more realistic forecast. It's configured. It could automatically take all the new changes that have happened in the week and push that information here. So this could be a real living forecast which automatically adapts to the changes that are happening, opportunities closing, new opportunities coming into play, and all that is accounted, saving the team a lot of data munging and other exercises to make it more up to date. So with that, I will end this demo. Lizzie, if you want to add anything to this, feel free to do that. But otherwise, back to you, Greg.